Welcome back to another video, and this one is a big one because we're finally going to be finishing the exterior of our tiny house. In this video, we'll be finding out the total weight of our tiny house because we're probably going to be moving it again. We'll be installing the metal panels for our wall cladding, finishing small details that make all the difference, and finally, the exterior will be done.
We have a problem. This tiny house may be a little bit too heavy. We just put a lot of wood inside for the structure and the thermal wood as well last week. So I think it's time now to do the math. In this tiny house, we have 27 pieces of 2x4s. We also have 48 pieces of 2.90 meters. We have 57 linear meters of all of these horizontal pieces for our subfloor. We made a whole frame. Who remember that? That was the first step of the tiny house. We have 60 linear meters for our roof rafters. We have 32 pieces of 15 by 5 with 1.60 meter average, and our huge roof beam, 25 by 10, 8 meters long. We have one whole piece, and the 16 by 16, this amazing piece, is a total of 3 meters. And to do the math of all of our wood combined, I took this scrap piece of 2x4, put on the balance, and took the weight as a reference to know the weight of the whole tiny house frame. And after hours and hours with my calculator and ChatGPT, after measuring the whole frame, all the OSBs combined, all the windows and door, the metal roof, and also our cladding, the total weight of the tiny house so far is 3 tons. Yes, it's a bit too much. And we also have to add the trailer weight, which is 680 kilos. So the total weight will be 3.6 to 3.7 tons. And that passes the weight limit that we expected before we even start to build the inside of our tiny house. Yeah, that's bad. We can't really be traveling around with this tiny house. We don't plan to travel around, but that's bad.
Our trailer has a weight limit of 3.5 tons, including its own weight. Right now, we're about 200 kilos over. We don't plan to travel with this tiny house or move it off the land, but we do want to move it within the property and quite soon. We want to move it from here to here. We'll explain why later on in this video, because we know we've already mentioned that this was going to be its permanent spot. And I'm back this week. I'm back for finishing off the rest that is left to complete the exterior. And it really is these small little details that need to be done. The window sills, the framing around the doors and the windows. I need to finish off painting the door. We need to do the gable edge. These pernickety things, you know, that take time, but also bring it all together. So I think we'll be able to do this in the next couple of days and finish off. I'm ready to start building inside and get everything on the roll, you know? I'm really excited to see that process. But first, we need to finish where we left off. So let me show you what he's doing. So as you guys can see, we've got this beautiful thermo wood that we absolutely love. But to break it up a little bit on the design, we're going to install the same metal sheets on this part of the wall to kind of break it up and give it a bit more texture, and I think it will look good.
It will look amazing. I think only thermal wood will also look good, but we want to be more creative. And putting the metal sheets around, this will look amazing in the end.
Yeah.
And I don't think it will be hard to do.
No, I don't think so. So another thing that Elias is going to be doing is, show them, Elias, I'll put that in there.
Yeah, I'm doing like a box. The same thing I did on the first window, guys. I just put this finishing here. The same thermal wood on the top, on the sides, so it hides this, protects from any water, and gives a nice finishing. I do this, and then we do the roof panels.
Yeah.
Before that, Ida started painting our L-shaped pieces that will go on top of the wooden cladding. First, she cleans them with thinner, and then paints them dark gray. We'll be installing them like this, between the wooden slats and the metal roofing. While Ida was painting, I was cutting wooden pieces to frame our windows. I measured the space between the window and the wooden slat, transferred that measurement to the wood, and cut it with the circular saw. Then with the piece cut, I make the angle about 20 degrees and it's ready. I trim off the excess spanny foam around the window, add waterproof tape so no water gets in, and the finished result looks like this, completely done.
While Eliezer was doing that, I started painting the door, which I hadn't finished yet. Okay, so a lot of you probably thinking, Eda, what kind of a paint job is that? Just wait, because things didn't go to plan. I was meant to paint the other side of the door. I completely forgot. I painted everything else. It's just this side. And then we realized that actually the door is so heavy to lift, and like there's about 1/2 meter gap, and it was really heavy for me. So when Chago and his uncle was here, we asked them to help us install it, and I thought I can paint it later. So me painting it later is now looking at the paint job thinking it's kind of botched. I should have just bought the windows and the doors painted, but I didn't because I was a cheapskate. Okay, anyway, this is the first coat. I'm still going to do another 2 coats, and then let's see what we're working with. But I still think it's better this color than white. So oh, and another little obsession of ours is listening to Michael Jackson. Bye.
What?
Your best Michael Jackson dance. Oh, wow, I didn't know you could moonwalk. Wow.
Do the moonwalk now.
Ready?
Oh! Oh, what's that? The guitar!
Then we started working on the metal roofing sheets. We began where the roof changes angle, something that we've learned about building. Anything involving angles is 10 times harder. So now look at the design for our main house. Wow, it's going to be a challenge.
So our initial idea would be to this piece, on this angled piece, could have a 90-degree angle, curvature, to then continue on our wall. That wasn't a very good idea, so I cut, and this will be just a triangle with the angle. Let's see, I think I got it right. Oh, so satisfying. This was the hardest part, figure out this angle. Now, only straight cuts from now on. So good. 1 hour for that.
You want it like that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's good. Because the water can come in here.
Now if you put silicone.
Yeah, it is, but it's better if the cladding is overlapping and there's a lot less chance of it to go. There's no way of it getting in.
I don't think it's a good finishing.
I don't think the other ones are good at finishing. This is where we spent most of our time, trying to figure out how things work. We're putting the metal sheets over the wood, but we don't want water to get in, so we had to find a way to solve that. I think we found our solution to this problem. So originally we said, okay, we'll put the drip edge, this L piece that we have like this, to give it a clean edge, and then obviously put it overlay, but that's not gonna work. So instead, we're just gonna flip it. I'm gonna have to repaint that, but it is what it is. And then the sheets can go on, and it's protected from the water. It's gonna be way more protected because it has this drip edge, and then from the back as well. So I think we're gonna do that. Just means I'm gonna have to paint everything again. That was good, but then we had an even better idea. Place one L-shaped piece on top of the other. That way, water can't get in from behind, and it gives us a nice clean finish. Okay, so we have everything set up. We had to do some edges, some finishing touches on the gable, on the fascia, but this is the piece. This is our first piece, putting it on, and I think we've adjusted it. It's the right size. Everything should fit in perfectly. So let's see. Let's see how it looks. Da-na, da-na. Wow, it looks really good. I love it. I think it's a really nice contrast with the wood. And obviously because it's matching the windows and the doors, it's all the same color, so it's all seamless. It looks clean, it looks modern. But also, what would you guys have chosen for your cladding? Would you have done, some people like white cladding, some people like black, like the burnt cladding. I actually saw that option. I really like that as well. Obviously there's so many different options, but I absolutely am loving this contrast. I think we chose really well.
Then we carried on working with our metal panels.
Reality check here, guys. We didn't film this wall. We made this wall, but we didn't film the wall, the process, because it's so stressful to work on these metal sheets again. You cut yourself every time, your fingers. It's really hot, and work with them on the sun makes them really hot as well. And we made this window bad, so we have to redo this window again. Well, we didn't film this wall, but we're gonna film from here on.
These metal panels are pretty easy to measure and cut. Now I'm working on the back of the tiny house, which has a small 5-degree angle. I cut it using my grinder with a metal disc, then install it. Always overlapping one panel over the other. It's a tight fit because I cut them to almost exact size, so there's no excess.
I think it's really funny because in working with somebody, especially in a couple, each person knows their role and like knows what they're better at. So for me, I way prefer drilling than Eliezer because he's not very good at it.
I'm horrible at drilling.
He's not good.
I never get the right angle.
Yeah, he never gets it straight. Like he always puts it in wonky, and that really frustrates me. But now he just knows, like I drill, but okay, I'm better at drilling, but he's way better at cutting the metal sheets with the angle grinder and like using the angle grinder than me. So it's just one of those unspoken rules that we both know, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we mentioned yet, but I'm using the same roofing screws that I use for the roof for the walls because firstly, water won't come in, and secondly, Eliezer bought these caps that match the same colour as the metal roof, so it all combines, it all looks way more, it's like, it like basically camouflages the screws, so yeah, that's what we're doing.
With that piece in place, Ada starts screwing it down using the same screws we used on the roof. But if you look closely, we found screw caps in the exact same color as the metal sheets, so they're completely hidden. When we get to the window, things get a bit trickier. I measure the size of the panel, remove the window, cut the sheet and install it.
Well, today's work is done. We continue tomorrow. But you know what time it is?
Shower time!
Always good.
It's a new day with my cup of tea and we're ready to work. So we've made a list of the things that need to be done for basically the exterior of the tiny house to be complete. First things first is that we have to complete the metal cladding, which is only this part. We have literally one corner left. Then the second thing that I'm going to focus on is completing the boxes, the trim around the windows, because right now it's looking really messy, but I have an idea for that. The third thing is making corners overlapping the metal sheeting, so obviously no water can come in and it just looks a bit cleaner and neater. The fourth thing then is doing our gable edge. That is something that we've been putting off until all of the cladding is done. The fifth thing is then putting on our the roof cap, the roof ridge, the last piece on top of the roof. And then it's just the small details, adding silicone, adding those little caps on top of the roof as well to make it look more camouflage and all the same colour. All these little pinicky things. And then the last thing is going to be treating this wood. Even though it's treated, I think we just want to maybe put on a nice oil, a nice finishing touch to make the tiny house shine. So yeah, with all of that, the list is done. Let's get to work. We've got no time to lose.
We started with the last metal panel. I made a small mistake while cutting, so I made another piece to cover it up, and job's a good end. But the biggest challenge so far was the window. We spent a long time figuring out the best way to finish it.
So look how ugly and unfinished this window is. There's no trim, there's no finishing, but we're gonna change that. Okay, so this is our wooden frame, which is gonna fill the gap on the sides. And then we need to do the last step. And this is what our final window is going to look like. I think there's a couple small details. We still need to add silicone. I want to make those little ending boxes where you just fold over the metal and it looks more polished, more finished. But we did the mixture of wood and then obviously matching the color of the metal sheet. So I think it looks good. This is my first time ever doing trim and actually realizing how complicated it would be on a window, but I think like this, we did pretty well.
For the corners, I started by taking measurements, then used our flat metal pieces and cut them with the grinder. With the piece cut, I went back to the cut location to figure out where to make the angle. Then I marked the center and bent it by hand. Once bent, I put it in place, and I think that makes a good corner.
Now that all the windows are installed, I need to run a bead of silicone. Actually, I've already installed this window completely with silicone. It's quite messy, but I tried to do my best with the silicone. It's quite hard, but far away you can't notice it. So I think it's looking really, really seamless, really good. And the most important thing is obviously water can't get in. So the next thing we have to do is I have to silicone the rest of the windows, and what I'm going to do is paint these window sills to match the colour of the window. And yeah, then all the windows are done.
And look how good it looks when we paint the metal pieces under the window matching with the dark grey windows. Obviously each colour has a code, and this grey is RAL 7016. And this colour is actually very commonly used worldwide. Now let's move on to the roof trim.
Okay guys, so the next step is our gable edge. So we've been huffing and puffing and trying to figure out the best solution for this. And we found this piece that we've custom made from our metal sheets. These are like the flat ones. So this one we've bent ourselves, and with the factory edge at the bottom, we're gonna put it on like that and probably have about 2 pieces. The other option is this, which is kind of like a test that Eliezer made. It's the same material as the roof, but the thing is, we didn't have complete piece. So this would have been like 6 or 7 pieces, which I think would have looked really messy, but that was also another option. But we're gonna go with this. And now we're gonna show you guys how we are making these.
To make these, we bent the piece in the middle to a 90-degree angle manually, since we don't even have all the proper tools. We just pressed it down over this piece of wood until it bent to the right angle. Then we bent the last 4 centimeters again at 90 degrees so it matches the roof angle. And just like that, the day was over. It was one of those days that we didn't see so much progress, but that's just sometimes how it goes.
Today has been one of those days where we haven't felt like we've been progressing at all with the work, but it's because we really didn't know how to waterproof, like completely flash the corners, and then I realized it's called side flashing. And it's just, you know, I lost a lot of time, you lost a lot of time trying to understand the best way to do it. So it wasn't a lot of progress, but now we found the solution to the gable trimmed edge. I'm so hungry, I'm so tired.
Yeah, one of these days. Anyway, well, good news, I found a nice cowboy hat. So hot here in Portugal. So good to wear this on the sun. And tomorrow, we're probably gonna finish the tiny house.
Probably. 85% chance.
Yeah.
Okay, what time is it? Shower time.
So we had a shower.
So fresh, I feel brand new.
Yes, me too.
Oh my gosh.
So good. And just before the next day, we spoke about in the beginning of the video that we were gonna move the tiny house again. Where? In here, where the container is. I'm gonna show why and how we're gonna do that. So the tiny house is now the entrance of our land. And if you pay attention, look at all of those trees on top of the tiny house. That's a hill, abandoned. We don't know who is the owner. And every other month, 1 tree falls. And we have 2 risks over there. First risk is any tree falls onto the tiny house, onto any car that's parking close to the tiny house. That's the risk 1. Risk 2 is fire. We're in the fire season now. Every summer there is fires here in Portugal. And if any fire catches those trees, that's really bad. So our idea
my idea, Ada and Thiago as well, is move the tiny house again all the way over here where we started the tiny house. This is where the place we started, just where the container is. We're gonna move the container over there to our chicken house. We're gonna demolish the chicken house and leave the container there. We paint container green or something, and we continue the wall. So Thiago's gonna come back here again to continue the wall like 10, 20 meters, and we're gonna place the tiny house over here, which makes more sense for safety. There's no big trees, risky trees, falling trees around it. It's close to our stone wall, which makes more beautiful the landscape, and it's gonna be close to the main house. And for me, it has a better view. We can see the bridge, we can see it has more privacy as well. It's not on the entrance of the land, and we can somehow in the future integrate the tiny house with the main house when they're both complete. So that's something that will be done soon.
Projects never stop, and as you've seen, we've moved this tiny house more than once, and we're going to move it again. But now we're a bit more worried because it's way heavier. Anyway, let's move on to the next day.
And today is the big day, the day that two inexperienced newbies finished building a tiny house. Well, at least the exterior. Installing the metal roof edges was straightforward. Once the pieces were ready, we just put them in place and screw them in. We also sealed them with silicone so water can't get in. The final result looks amazing. It now really feels finished. On the other side of the house, it was the same process. One piece on each side, then one in the middle. The only downside was the heat. The metal sheets got extremely hot, but we were determined to finish. Our gable edges are done. Next one off the list. And that's what they say, when you do a bad job, you have to do it twice. I made a bad job here, I'm gonna have to remove everything and do again. Here I tried to save materials by stacking several small sheets on top of each other. And it looked awful. Luckily, we had one large sheet left over, so I cut it to size. And what was 3 ugly pieces became one clean, nice looking piece. Since the filming angle there was so awkward, I just recorded the final result, which looks much better. The final step was the roof ridge cap, which covers the top seam so water can get in. This part was really satisfying. We were exhausted, but we pushed through, because it was the last thing to finish before finishing the exterior of a tiny house. We can now say that after months since our trailer first arrived, since building the floor, the walls, moving it, installing the windows, installing cladding, we reached this point. The exterior is done. Who would have told that? 2 people with no experience were capable of doing this. We're so proud of ourselves.
So, we have finally got to this point of the exterior of the tiny house being complete. I cannot believe I'm looking at this with Eliezer, a guy that had no experience doing this, and we've got to this point. We said we want to do this in 3 months.
No, 5 months for everything.
Oh, 5 months for everything. It's taken us 5 months to get here. But you know what? Saying that, we have never done this before.
Yes.
And the way that this looks, for me, I cannot be happier. Honestly, I feel so proud of us. I feel like we've grown so much. We've learned so much problem solving. And I just can't wait to sleep in this thing.
Oh, yes. Well, a lot of things are happening next season. This is the end of this season.
Yeah.
We have some different clothes because we just took a shower.
Yeah.
And next season is going to be about the interior. We're going to move the tiny house again. We're going to work a little bit on the container, painting the container.
Got some other projects.
Yeah, got some the main house. We're going to start the main house. A lot of stuff are happening. This is the end of this season. The tiny house is done. There's just one detail that's going to make the whole difference, that we're going to put some oil in our thermal wood. That's going to make it glow.
Yes.
But that's going to be for the next episode.
Yeah. We can't do everything, you know.
Yes.
Soon you guys will be watching a compilation video of when we bought the trailer until this point. That video will be coming out soon, and that will be showing everything in one huge video. So
get ready for that because that's going to be really fun to watch.
Yes.
But for now, this is this week's video. We really hope that you've enjoyed this process with us and you've enjoyed watching the mistakes, watching us grow, watching, you know, us learn on the go and be able to hopefully show you guys and hopefully be able to show you guys as well. If you wanted to build a tiny house, you can.
Well,
like just we've, you know, 5 months ago, we didn't even know how to do any of this. So
yes. Actually, you can, because if we do this, yes, you can do.
so cheesy, but it's true. It's true.
Yes. Well, so that's it, guys, for this video. We see you guys in like couple weeks, but next week we see you in the compilation video.
Okay, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Okay, now let's talk about the costs. We had to buy new metal sheets for the exterior cladding, plus more screws. That cost us a total of 402 euros. We also had to buy silicone, adhesives, and other supplies that cost us 82 euros. That brings the total cost of the exterior of our tiny house build, including the trailer, to 16,817 euros and 36 cents. We really hope that you enjoyed watching us build this tiny house with blood, sweat, and tears from scratch. And make sure you stay tuned for next week's video, which is going to be a huge compilation video showing the entire build, starting from buying the trailer until this point. Thanks so much for subscribing to our channel. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you in next week's video.
Subscribe and bye-bye.
Subscribe.